I recently got the DJI Ronin S in-house. I wanted to do this video comparing the physical differences between it and the Zhiyun Crane 2. So let's go ahead and hop into this video. First off is the case. The case that the Zhiyun Crane 2 comes in is much better than what DJI provides you for theirs. This is a soft shell case that has a much lower profile. I will say that when you're using this case with the Zhiyun Crane 2 that you have a difficult time storing it when you have the elongated L bracket. It's what you need to fly larger cameras on the Crane 2. So if you have that on your Crane 2, it doesn't fit very well into the case. So there is that, because with the Ronin S, you get this traditional Phantom-ish case that's just this processed styrofoam, and I absolutely hate this case. I had one with the Phantom 4, broke, wasn't good, I didn't like it, so Crane 2 wins in the packaging department. I think the best possible way to start the comparison between the two is to start at the bottom. The included tripod legs that come with the Ronin S are much better than what you get with the Crane. You set down any kind of load with the Ronin and it doesn't have any give inside these tripod legs. They're really stout and sturdy. I really like these over what the Crane 2 provides. On the Crane 2, you get these legs. They're not as high quality as what you would get on the Ronin S. I think these legs could use some improvement, because when you set this thing down when the Crane 2 is under load, you can feel a little bit of give into it, and there is a lot more play. They just don't feel as strong. You can kind of bend the leg a little bit and you can feel that. So in this case, from the tripod leg stance, I would give that to the Ronin S. So next up is talking about the grip. The grip on the Ronin S is second to none. And when we're talking about grips, we're gonna go ahead and talk about batteries, because both of these gimbals have the batteries housed within the grip. The grip on the Ronin S, like I said, is second to none. It just feels phenomenal in your hand because they have this really nice rubber material up here and it sits nicely in your hand. When you have a heavy gimbal system, you really want to have as much assistance as possible, especially when you're considering having a one-handed gimbal system. With the Crane 2, we'll set this down and take a look at the Crane 2. You really have to have a strong grip with this because it's nothing but straight. So when you grab here, that's where you're holding. There's no assistance from the hardware at all. So in the grip realm, I'm gonna give that to the Ronin S because I had to get this secondary handle because this became too much to hold on to, because you really have to squeeze tight. If you don't, it starts sliding and you hit the wheel and all types of stuff. So the Ronin S for the grip. Since we're talking about grips, we're gonna talk about the battery. The battery is the grip on the Ronin S, and I don't understand this design. For one, I'm gonna point out kind of an element that I am a little nervous of. Humor me for a bit. So this little handle here releases the battery from the gimbal motor system. You're running and gunning, say your gloves catch this because it doesn't sit flush. It starts to loosen over time. You know, you're shooting and yada, 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 and then all of a sudden it reaches the end. And then you're out there running, you don't even realize it, and then there goes your camera. I'm concerned with this because there's no way for you to, it just slides off. The only security that you have there is this latch. DJI should have thought of something. You push this latch and then you push a button to release it, you know, like a quick release system, but it's not. I haven't put this to the test, but I'm skeptical of this design. Also, you can't charge the battery without the motor. What is that? Battery system on the Zhiyun Crane 2, you literally take them out by unscrewing it, take the batteries out and charge them, no problem. You can have a separate set of batteries and all that type of stuff and charge them. With this, there's no plug on the battery at all, nothing. You have to plug it into the motor and charge it via the motor's USB Type-C port. Don't like that. Battery to the Zhiyun Crane 2. Moving right along, both of these gimbals come with a focus wheel. The Ronin S has a removable one. And at the time of this video, this gimbal only communicates with Panasonic cameras. These are gonna kind of be split between the two. I give them both a half a point for the Ronin S because you can remove it and put it on either side. So depending on your hands If you're right-handed or left-handed, you can choose what side you want the focus wheel to be on. Or you can just remove it in its entirety, and I really, really like that. With the Zhiyun crane, you're stuck with it being here because it's built into the gimbal. I will say that they've done a better job at incorporating more cameras and having more camera systems available in communication with the two, but they also have the servo follow focus motor that is available to you, and it works with all cameras, manual lenses and all. So with this, I give half a point to the Crane 2 because they have their follow focus motor available now, and you can purchase it now. I'm sure DJI is going to have something that copies Zhiyun in the future that comes along because they have their follow focus motor, but it's more than the gimbal itself, so I'm sure they're going to have something more affordable. Since we're up towards the top of this, I want to talk about the joystick. The joystick on the Ronin S is second to none. Using the one on the Crane 2 is not my favorite. It's really cumbersome and difficult to manage, but with this one, it's just like flying my Mavic Pro or my Inspire 1 Pro. It's super responsive. The button modes are really clear and communicated to you. So in this one, I'm gonna give it to the Ronin S. The thumb knob here is awesome. Additionally, they have a button here that holds it into different modes. I really, really, really like that because it just helps with being more efficient and effective with my one-handed gimbal setup. And you know, when you're flying heavy one-handed gimbals like these, your arms get tired over time. So the quicker you can get the best shot possible, the better. I feel like I can do that with the Ronin S. That's not to take anything away from the Crane 2. The actual OLED screen here is really communicative with the modes that you have it set in and all types of stuff. So you really just push the button and set it into the mode that you want. Just really hate the thumb screw, so I'm gonna give this one to the Ronin S. Gimbal motors. So probably the best demonstration for you is to pretend like there's a camera sitting here and I can see the lens clearly because of its tilted roll motor. It's down, out of sight, so it's perfect for Sony cameras, and that's what I primarily fly on this gimbal. One thing that you're going to have to note with this is that if you're making adjustments to the roll motor, if your camera is adjusted here, lift up a little bit to relieve the stress and move it in and out. Ronin S has a better setup for cameras that have non-rotatable or articulating LCD screens. With the Crane 2, this blocking you is just not a problem. For Sony cameras, this is difficult to use. It's just the way it is because Sony doesn't have an articulating screen. So for that, I'm not gonna give either one of them a point because they're both really strong and work really well. I will say that I prefer the Ronin S over this one, only because I fly it with the Sony camera. If I had a Panasonic GH5, it would be indifferent and they would both earn half a point. Now, let's talk about plate systems here. So they both come with this said Manfrotto PL plate that's adaptable to Manfrotto tripods. The only one though that works with the Manfrotto PL plates is the Crane. So I can use these Manfrotto 501s and they work well in it, and I can tighten it down. So the Crane 2 works better within my ecosystem because they actually allow you to use these plates with the Ronin S. This is gonna make a lot of people mad, DJI. You have this PL plate system, but I take this 501 PL, doesn't fit. WTF, man, like, now I have to use your plate. I have tested it with my 502 fluid heads and this fits in there and it works really well because it stops from sliding forward and back, but I have to use your plate on this gimbal. What was the point? Like, what was the point? That's so frustrating. So when it comes to base plate, physical things, the Crane 2 wins hands down. This is just a half-ass type of implementation of something that you say fits within the ecosystem when it doesn't, because 501 doesn't fit, too fat. Thumbs down on that, DJI. I really hate that about the Ronin S. So before I end this video, let's talk a little bit about accessories. The accessories that you get with the Ronin S included in the purchase outweigh what you would get with the Crane 2. But when you think about time on market, the Crane 2 has spend a lot of time on market and is more mature, so they've had time to develop accessories or aftermarket accessories for purchase with the gimbal system. So with included accessories, the Ronin S wins, but with aftermarket accessories, the Crane 2 wins. I mean, I have this little side handle that I absolutely love. It mounts a monitor, allows you to keep using the tripod feet and all types of stuff. It's just great. So while I'm closing this video out, I just wanted to do a quick physical comparison between these two gimbals. I want to spend more time with them before I give you a final review of either one. If you want to see that, feel free to smash that like button and I'll know to put a final review of each one of these gimbals out and kind of share with you my thoughts. They're both strong, they're both very capable gimbal, one-handed gimbal systems that will get the job done. I've balanced the C200 on the Zhiyun Crane 2. I haven't done that yet on the Ronin S, but I've seen some internet posts where it shows that it will work, and I can't imagine why it wouldn't. So, if you're interested in picking up either one of these gimbals, hit the links in the description. Those are my affiliate links, and feel free to pick one up. Comment down below which one do you think is best. I really, really hate the misleading marketing of the Ronin S and its capabilities of it fitting into the 501 or the Manfrotto plate system ecosystem. It just, that boggles my mind. This doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. That alone probably is enough for me to not recommend this, but it's a great gimbal and they're both awesome. So full disclosure, Zhiyun did send me the Crane 2. DJI didn't. I purchased this with my own hard-earned cash. So take it for what it's worth. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas and I will catch you in the next one.